for this background and this look and all of this, but I have to talk about something I recently saw, and I know you all know it. It's called Frankenstein, the monster, and all of the things we know about it. But it's weird. I feel weird. I don't know how to feel exactly. It's like he was not what I imagined, and what I was told when I was a child. He's different. Like the look, of course, like the look is what we know. And I was scared. I was terrified. Of course, I was absolutely terrified at first. But then I was like, this happened. I saw him and I was like this, petrified. I didn't move. So I had the chance to analyze what he was doing. And he was like so alone. Like he didn't have anyone around him because everyone of us is scared of him because what we heard about him. But he's like one of us. Not the look, but I could feel like he felt like a human, like he had, feelings, and he was also terrified. Like he was terrified of us because we were, like running away from him, and he was doing nothing because he didn't attack anyone. So it was weird, and I certainly don't know how to feel right now. It's like I feel compassion for him, but I also am scared because this is new for me, and of course new for all the people who saw him. And maybe what it comes to my mind right now is like we have to take the chance and we have to try to understand him at least. But yeah, I'm shocked right now, and I don't know how much time I will be shocked. But from now, I will start looking at him differently. Of course, he's not the monster I recall.
Hi, my name is Kevin Hoyos, and I need to talk about something I just saw around the street. The so-called monster, Frankenstein. Yes, that was horrific. But, despite of that, what I think when I see him, it was not about his monstrosity, but about the monstrosity of his creator. The man, Victor Frankenstein, was able to give a life to pretend to be God. And if he make a decision to create something, he also make a decision to abandon him. Something is clear. Despite the fact of the innovation and all the attribution and all the greediness of Victor, he also has a lack of responsibility. He made that creature, and now he's around the street causing all this mess. There is something clear here. It's not the fault, the monster is not one to blame, but Victor is. And I'm really shocked. This is something to gossip about. And now the monster is nowhere to belong, nowhere to be in. He is from his own, with not knowledge, anything to come with. Maybe he's a monster. But Victor is a monster too. This reminds me the nowadays science, how people pretend to be a creator, but doesn't belong to think that maybe their creation needs responsibilities too. It's sad to see how some scientists pretend they can do whatever they want because they're thinking they're making good things to the world, but they're not, and they're too greedy to accept it.
Hi, my name is Santiago, and after seeing Frankenstein, what stayed with me the most was how alone he was. He didn't attack me, he didn't act like a monster at first. What I saw was someone who was expecting people to fear him. It's like he learned that he didn't belong anywhere. And that made me think about us as a society, because how many times do we reject people just because they look different? Every time, right? So what I realized is that the creature didn't become a monster by himself. He learned that society pushed him to that way, to that point specifically.
Hi, I'm Anna, and after seeing Frankenstein, what stayed with me wasn't fear. It was discomfort. Not because of how he looked, but because of what he represents. When I saw him, I kept thinking, this shouldn't have happened. Not his existence, but the way he was left alone, without guidance, without anyone taking responsibility for him. And that made me think about us, about how easy it is to create something, but how difficult it is to take care of it afterward. For me, meeting Frankenstein didn't feel like facing a monster. It felt like seeing the result of a human mistake, and honestly, that's much more disturbing.
I cannot die.